All right, everyone. Today we're gonna go over some exponent rules. So this is stuff that you did learn in Algebra 1 and that you are gonna use in Algebra 2. So I think it's a good time to just kind of go over it. So I'm gonna take you through all these properties and then a couple problems, and then you're gonna do a quizzes following this video. So first property: any number raised to the 0 power always has a value of 1. So anything at all raised to the 0 power is going to have a value of 1. So in our example here to the right, 11 to the 0, 1. Anything to the 0 is 1. Next one, and this is one that we're going to use a lot. B raised to the negative m equals 1 over b to the m. So any number raised to a negative exponent must be written as the reciprocal. So 1 over b to the m. You can't leave negative exponents. So an example, 7 to the negative second is 1 over 7 squared, which is 1 over 49. Next, we have when you multiply exponents with the same base. So when I say the same base, I mean this is b and this is b. You add the exponents and you keep the base the same. So an example here, 2 to the third times 2 to the second. So it's not 2 to the sixth, it's 2, make my 2 a little better, 2 to the 3 plus 2, which is 2 to the fifth. And once you realize it is 2 to the fifth, you could use your calculator, whatever you want to use, is just 32. Next one here, to divide exponents with the same base, you're not going to add them, you're going to subtract. You're going to subtract the exponents. So here it could be written two different ways. It could be written like this or like this. In either case, once you see division, you know to subtract. So this is really 3 to the 10 minus 7, which is 3 to the third, which is 27. And this one right here is now 4 to the 5 minus 3, which is 4 squared, which equals 16. All right, next one we have a power of a power. So you see you have b to the m, then raised to another power. That is when you multiply the exponents. So our example right here, 10 squared to the third. It's really 10 to the sixth. And the 6 I got from doing 2 times 3. And then you just plug that in the calculator. And that is 1,000,000. Next one here, it says to find the power of a product. You're going to raise all of the parts in the parentheses to the exponent. So it basically means everything inside the parentheses gets the exponent. So 3 is to the fifth and 2 is to the fifth. Not just the 2 and not just the 3. So it's really 3 to the fifth times 2 to the fifth. Which again, you just use your calculator. 3 to the fifth is 243. 2 to the fifth is 32. And when you multiply those, you get 7,776. And now same thing with division. Everything in the parentheses gets the exponent. That's the main thing here. You see how this m goes to everything in the parentheses. So you're almost distributing the exponent to everything inside. So the a gets an m and b gets an m. So to find the power of the quotient, you're going to raise again all parts of the parentheses to the exponent. A little note here, the denominator can't be 0. So here, 8 divided by 2 to the 4th, it's really 8 to the 4th divided by 2 to the 4th, which is 4096 divided by 32. Oops, not 32, sorry, 16. Divided by 16. And down here, it's 12 to the second over 3 to the second. So just make sure everything gets the power. So these are your rules. This is what you're going to want to reference. I'm going to attach a blank one. So if you want to print it out at home, if not, just kind of take notes on the rules, but you can always reference this video. Now I'm just going to go through a couple examples here, kind of putting it all together. So first one, evaluate each expression. 6.7 raised to the 0 power. Now we should know anything raised to the 0 power is 1. So this one is just going to equal 1. That's it. Next one, -2 to the -4th. Now, you cannot have a negative power. So what do we do when we see a negative power? We rewrite it as the reciprocal. So 1 over -2 to the 4th is 1 over 16. And again, from right here, just go right into your calculator. Now, you should be pausing this video at this point and trying the next two. I'm going to obviously go over it, but you should pause it and try the next two and check your answers. So again, -2.5 to the 0, 1, 3 to the -2nd, 1 over 3 to the 2nd, which is 1 over 9. Example 2. So now here's where we're kind of going to be putting it all together, simplifying expressions. So we're going to take it one step at a time. We're going to draw a little fraction bar. We're just going to do one thing at a time. I'm going to start with this 4. Nothing really is, there's no exponent on the 4, so I'm just going to rewrite that. X to the 0. What is anything to the 0? It's 1, so 4 times 1. Now we have y to the -3rd. Y to the -3rd, so I'm just going to rewrite that here. So I have 4 over y to the -3rd. Now, can I leave it like that? No. Why not? Because there's a negative in the denominator. So I have to rewrite it as a reciprocal, which is 4 over y to the 3rd. And that is your answer. So next one, we're going to do B. -2 to the 0. -2 to the 0 is 1, so that's going to go on the top. And now I have x to the -2nd. Since there's a negative exponent, we have to rewrite it with the x in the denominator. So the x to the -2nd is going down here. Now notice when you put the x to the second in the x to the -2nd in the denominator, it's not a negative power anymore. Nothing we could change with the y to the 2nd, so that's going to stay. That's your answer. So those are simplifying expressions. We're going to start off with some simple ones in the quizzes, and then next time we'll do a little harder ones. Example 4. So now we're going to use those properties from the beginning of the video. So 3 to the 2nd times 3 to the 6th. So what do we do with the powers? We don't subtract them. We don't multiply them. We add them. So this becomes 3 to the 2nd plus 6, which is really 3 to the 8th. And you might say to yourself, I don't know what 3 to the 8th power is. It's okay. Just type it in the calculator and you should get 6,561. Good. How about B? -4 to the 2nd over -4 to the 7th. So what do I have to do with the powers? Since it's set up like division, I have to subtract. So that equals -4 to the -5th. Am I done? No, obviously I can't be done because there's a -5 as an exponent. We can't leave a negative as the exponent. So what am I going to do? I'm going to rewrite it as a reciprocal. 1 over -4 to the 5th, which is -1 over, type in the calculator, 1024. So I'm just going to circle the answers here. Last one, C, z to the 4th raised to the -3. Now, what we have to be aware of is that this is a power to a power. So this is really z to the -12, because I have to multiply here. 4 times -3 is -12. And I rewrite again, 1 over z to the 12th. You might ask yourself, well, why did I go from here to here? Why did he bother to rewrite it? Oh, that's because this can't be negative. I'm going to keep going for one more set of notes. All right, last couple here. We're going to simplify, and remember, look at the directions here. It says write your answer using only positive exponents, which goes along with what I've been saying, that we can't leave a negative exponent. So, -1.5y squared. Now, the common misconception, the common mistake for this question is that you go from there to here. Why is that wrong? Because every single thing in the parentheses needs to get a 2. It needs to be raised to the power of 2. So that means the -1.5 has to be raised to the power of 2, and the y has to be raised to a power of 2. So this is wrong. You have to raise everything. So this becomes -1.5 squared times y squared, which is 2.25 y squared. Where did I get the 2.25 from? I did -1.5 squared. Next, same thing. Every single thing in the parentheses needs to get the exponent. See how I have it up here? A to the third and -10 to the third. So this becomes a to the third over -1000, which we can rewrite as -a to the third over 1000. C is going to be a great example. Again, 3 to the 4th, d to the 4th, all over 2 to the 4th. Everything needs a 4th power because there's these parentheses. So I'm going to mark it up with my highlighter here. 4, 4, 4. Everything gets it. Now you just evaluate. 3 to the 4th is 81. D to the 4th over 16. You should check to see if you could simplify this fraction anymore. I already checked for you. You can't, so you can leave it. And there's your answer. All right, last one. Finally, the last one. Again, you should be pausing the video in between every question so that you can kind of guess and work the answer and then check your solution. So again, everything in this parenthesis gets the exponent of -5. So that's 2 to the -5, x to the -5, 3 to the -5. Now here's something we haven't seen before. We haven't seen something with a negative power in the numerator. I'm sorry, in the denominator, right here. We haven't seen, what do you do when it's a negative power in the denominator already? Usually when we have a negative power in the numerator, we move it to the denominator. It's the same thing. Everything on the bottom has got to go to the top. And everything on the top has to now go to the bottom. And then if you look, when you do this little switch, everything's positive. So 3 to the 5th is 243. 2 to the 5th is 32. Then you have x to the 5th. Again, this would be a good time to see if you could simplify 243 over 32. You can't, so you can just leave it. So those are all the examples. I'm going to attach a blank and filled out copy of this along with the graphic organizer. You're really just following your rules. After this, after you finish this video and copying these notes, please complete the quizzes. Remember, a 70 is 100 in the gradebook, so shoot for a 70. Email me with any questions.